Just keep saying to yourself, it's only a movie. It's only a movie. It's only a movie that will have you living in the sixth dimension, moving in the wrong direction. A new fantasy, musical, comedy. The Forbidden Zone.
Sword of omens, give me sight beyond sight.
Greetings, Starfighter. You have been recruited by the Star League to defend the frontier against Sur and the Kodan Armada. Get ready. Prepare for blast-off.
Hey, Doc, we better back up. We don't have enough road to get up to 88. Roads? Well, we're going, we don't need roads.
Remember, no matter where you go, there you are.
This is 80's Reboot Overdrive Podcast.
We were dancing just like sways when Jennifer Grey had a nose. Oh, how I miss the 80s, but I'm too young to really know. Too young to know.
Oh my god. That is like so dated.
This is 80's Reboot Overdrive, and I am your overlord, Dave. Online, I've got 80's Music Girl, Rose,
Hi, everybody.
and 80's Auto Reverse, Scott.
Hi again.
So, what we're doing is we had a follow-up conversation. If you've listened to our 80's Guilty Pleasure episode, I'm pretty sure I left it in there, but what was happening was co-host Scott decided that one of his guilty pleasure movies, called The Forbidden Zone, he was going to send over to Rose, and as a consequence, after Rose got done watching it, then she would send it over to me. We would watch it, and then we would come back and talk about it. So this is our follow-up to that conversation. Just so you know what we're talking about. If you haven't seen The Forbidden Zone, I'm not surprised.
And this is why we did this sending thing between the three of us too, because it's a very obscure movie, and that's what makes it the guilty pleasure for myself.
Right. Okay. So I think Rose, in between our conversation that we just had, you just mentioned that you wanted me to go first on this one.
I did.
Wow. Okay. Let me explain how this happened. I get the DVD from Rose, and at that time, I think it was right around the time that I was really into my pneumonia situation, and we only have one DVD player in the house down in the basement, and I was like, just didn't have enough energy to just go down to watch this movie, so I kept putting it off. I finally get to the point where I'm like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put it in, and I'm going to, do my homework assignment. So I watch, I want to say 15 minutes, and then something happens where I have to take a kid somewhere to help out with the, like a hockey practice thing, like my son. Here's where the problem turned into. I had committed to Scott that I'd watch 20 minutes before giving up on this thing. And I knew that in the back of my head. And I'm like, I haven't given it a fair shot because he asked me specifically, 20 minutes. Give it 20 minutes. So, after watching the first 15 minutes, I actually didn't want to commit any more time to this movie. I was kind of already not really getting into it. I didn't see anything that was really jumping out at me other than it just being so vividly weird. And so what happened was there was a period of, I want to say, a good 2-3 weeks before I went back to honor that commitment. So I had the DVD sitting, and I go downstairs into the basement. I'm, feeling healthier now, and I think the problem was I still wasn't tolerant for alcohol. I think it may have helped.
And I did tell you might need a few drinks to get through it.
And I think it may have helped with this, but what happened was I actually set my phone 20-minute countdown, but I picked up from where I had left off before, because I was like, I don't really need to watch the very beginning part anymore, because I already got the gist of that. I'll pick up where it left off. When I got to maybe the 15-16 minute mark, I was at the point where it's like, all right, I need to see how they wrap this up. So I ended up watching the whole thing.
Yeah.
Now, how I feel about the movie, I've got 2 things I liked about it, and that's it.
Okay.
Okay. One, the princess running around with nothing on but her underwear. She's cute.
Yeah. Okay.
And there was a song that I believe was the Devil did that was in the same tune of Minnie the Moocher from Blues Brothers.
Uh-huh.
That was a fun song.
And that was Danny Elfman singing.
Okay.
With Oingo Boingo.
Now, outside of that, this movie actually is probably in the 3rd lowest movie in my life. Okay, so the worst one is, unfortunately, I think is going to stay there forever, that I actually paid for. It's called The Stupids with Tom Arnold.
Oh.
Terrible movie. Right above that, and it's a movie that a lot of people like, but for some reason I just don't get it, and I don't think it's funny at all. Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh. Really?
Now, right above that. Thank you for Benzone for entering the list.
Wow.
I mean, there are so many things. There's so many things wrong with this movie, man.
It's out there. It's out there, and it's really not politically correct at all.
That's another point that I don't like about it.
Yeah, it's very off.
Very anti-political. But it was the 80s, and they could kind of get away with that. But it was like, what are we doing here? Why am I watching this? And then, but it's bizarre. It's completely bizarre. But I think that if you're into recreational drugs and plenty of them, then I think this is the movie for you.
It just shows you where my mindset is, because I'm not into recreational drugs any longer.
All right, so did I disappoint with my review?
No, I'm totally fine.
No, it's totally personal.
Totally, yes. Like Kelly was just saying, it's personal.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's my guilty pleasure, right?
No,
that's exactly it.
Yeah, I don't hate you for liking the movie. I mean, it's your personal taste, but
and it's just, you know what?
The rest of my life is going to go by, and I'm going to try to forget about that movie.
Yeah, I know there's some things that you just can't unsee.
Yeah.
So
I want to know the son and the father continually trying to hump people.
I know, isn't that weird?
Yeah.
I mean,
that is hysterical. With their underwear on.
Yeah.
With their underwear on.
Yeah.
That is hysterical.
All right,
so
now, I've got to hear Rose's review.
First of all, Hervé Villachez, how'd you feel about that?
Okay. I mean, I don't dislike him as an actor. I mean, I liked him from what I got out of Fantasy Island, and I don't see. I mean, it was an expansion of what I got to see of him from that TV show.
Right.
But I mean, I think he's a fine actor. But I mean, is that the vehicle for to showcase his acting talent? I don't know.
I'm really impressed that you actually made it through the whole movie.
All right, well,
So I'm okay. So I want to know what Rose has to say about this movie.
Well, first of all, I have to quote a line from one of my favorite comedians, Eddie Izzard. He was talking about history, and he was talking about elephants on skis going up the Alps or something had to do with war. I don't know where he was going with that. But the line after he's explaining all this is, if you've never seen an elephant ski, then you've never been on acid. That pretty much sums up this movie.
Yeah.
This movie had so many unredeeming qualities about it. The fact that they felt like they had to go back into the 20s for a lot of their musical interludes, it felt like you were watching like a live action Betty Boop television. I don't know.
Oh, that's a
I never
good
really was a big
that's
fan of Betty Boop, but it was back in that era with what's the cat?
Felix.
Felix.
Felix the cat, that type of thing. It was that type of atmosphere where you had raunchy and you had the animation, and yet it was geared towards children. This wasn't geared towards children. It just was raunchy. And a lot of really bad dialogue. The princess also wore pearls, by the way. I thought that was very, and she had to tie them around her neck, which was weird. But it was just everything that you could possibly put into a movie that was bizarre. They did that. And to me, watching something like that from start to finish without any interruptions, it was horrific. It was horrific in a way that only something really stupid can make you laugh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like when people watch Beavis and Butthead because they think it's funny. That's kind of how I feel about this.
Okay.
Nobody else will get it, but
Nope.
a lot of the jokes were extremely risque and they were very out there. And the subject, there was like no plot to it, but there kind of was. And just, it was bizarre. You can't explain it. You can't explain the storyline. The sets were cheesy. The costumes, what there were of them. And then the queen, of course, was just, hateful and horrible and mean and ugly. But then there was another queen, and, and then there was the king that couldn't keep it in his pants and all of that. And
then there was Squeeze It, the chicken boy.
Yeah. The guy that was in the garbage can.
What in the world is up with that? It's a chicken boy. I don't get that. I don't know if that's like an innuendo for something weird or.
I don't know. I've seen it. I know you're gonna be amazed, but I've seen it actually several times. Watched it over and over again, and I always try to figure it out, and I can't figure out the movie. But it's such a mind warp that I just it's entertaining to me. I know it just sounds crazy, and like I said, I knew this would be a short episode because I know you guys don't really have much more to add other than it's just really bizarre, Well,
your several viewings, have you come to any conclusion as to what that whole scene in the school, like the teacher?
No, that's the strangest thing.
I mean, you've got the gangsters in the back playing cards, and it was like every racial stereotype that is wrong in so many levels. It's like
racial slurs, anything that was not acceptable in society basically was in that movie.
Could that be what they were talking about? That our society is just so screwed up with the way we stereotype so many things? Could have been a statement.
It could have been. But then again, we're not on Quaalude, so
Oh man.
Actually, I thought Hervé Villechaize, truthfully, was the only one that actually made sense in that movie.
Wow.
That makes, honestly, because she was yelling all the time, and then of course the little, the daughter, she was,
Frenchie.
prancing about doing Frenchie. Yeah,
Well,
really, Frenchie?
well, now that you brought up Betty Boop, though, I now associate those two.
I do too.
Yeah, you shouldn't have said that.
But yeah, it was definitely something that I can see why it's a guilty pleasure. I can't say I'll ever watch it again,
No, and I'm
only because there's no need to.
not surprised.
Yeah.
It kind of came into my life at a certain time when my mind just happened to be open to it. So that I think that makes a big difference too. And I'm not saying that I was, loaded on Quaaludes. But it did help that we did have, some enhancements in our mental attitude, I'll say.
So now, were you with a group of friends watching this?
Yeah, the first time I saw it, I watched it with a couple of friends.
Now, do they have are they revisiting it like you are?
Don't know, because I kind of lost touch with those guys.
Okay.
Oh.
I don't think so. I doubt it.
Yeah.
I could think of one other person that probably owns it and has probably watched it, as many times as I have. And he was a huge Oingo Boingo fan back in high school. He's the one that really turned me on to it in the first place because he was such an Oingo Boingo fan, and I really liked Oingo Boingo. And that kind of influenced my liking of the movie because I liked the band, and I thought Danny Elfman was really interesting and bizarre, and it proves him and his brother are way out there. And then I did go watch that the video of them on the Gong Show.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's not a far cry from what they were doing in that movie. It's really just weird. And they're just, I just want to know what puts them, because they're not, I don't think they're loaded.
No.
I just think they're really have just very creative imaginations.
Yeah.
So that's just what makes it so interesting to me, is that it's just so far out there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think honestly there's anything out there like it. To be honest.
I don't think there is. I've never seen anything that even comes close to the bizarreness that it is.
Well, I was trying to relate it to like something current, and like I the only thing I could think of, and it's not in the same ballpark, but just for the imagery, I keep thinking like Tim Burton movies.
Okay.
That they just they're kind of bizarre and out there. Look at the latest, the last Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah. And that's a good connection too, Tim Burton, because he's worked with Danny Elfman several times with musically. So maybe they have a similar mindset on the way they portray their art.
All right, well, Tim does it better though.
Now, I will say that it was that the Forbidden Zone is actually Richard Elfman's baby.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Danny Elfman was part of it, an influence on it, but it was Richard Elfman's writing and idea, which I don't know what else he has done. I really haven't.
I'd be afraid to look.
I know. Yeah. Oh, you know what? There was one other movie.
No.
Okay. What were you talking about? Sending us another movie?
We're not watching it.
I don't even know where to get it. But I shared this with this guy that was a client, a customer on my route, because we got talking about weird movies. I got the one. Talk weird movie. This is the weirdest thing you'll ever see. And he might have topped me. I don't know. There's one called, and it won some kind of award, and I don't know how. Some independent, little tiny weird award, and it was called Garbage Humpers.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, and I tried. I gave it like 5 minutes. I'm like, dude, okay, you got me here. I don't even know what this is. So there's things that are out there that are further out there. than this one.
Have you
but
guys
this
ever
is-
seen Rubber?
No.
Yeah, it's about a tire.
Get out.
No, I'm serious. It's about a tire, and it comes to life, and it kills people.
Oh my gosh.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Look it up. It's real.
Okay. 2010. Mm-hmm.
All right, so Richard Elfman has 9 directing credits.
Ooh, scary.
Forbidden Zone being the first one. Second one is a video short, Oingo Boingo Skeletons in the Closet. 94, Shrunken Heads. 94, Streets of Rage. He did a TV series in 96, 4 episodes of Bone Chillers. 98, TV movie called Modern Vampires. 2003, a short called Date or Disaster. And then 2 documentaries in 2008 and 2009. So he's
He
still
just gave up.
doing stuff.
Huh. Interesting. So, Rubber,
Yes.
I'm reading the synopsis there, and it reminds me a lot of Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
I know. It's awesome.
Now, that's a good movie. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes is awesome.
I worked with a gal that was in the return of the Killer Tomatoes.
Oh, nice.
And up until that point, when she said that, I couldn't have given her the time of day. And when she told me that she was in that movie, I was like, what? When? And I spent gobs of money trying to find that, because you really can't find it. If you don't word it properly, you can't find it. I finally found it on Netflix.
The second one you're talking about.
Yeah, but there's like 4 altogether. But if you don't word it right, you end up getting like the 3rd or the 4th one, which is weird. So she plays a police officer in the park, and they're all wearing like fake mustaches.
Okay.
And she's like wearing a fake mustache, and they're being all like Keystone Copish and things like that.
Yeah.
I thought, oh my God, she was serious. And she actually had saw it. Someone had told her that the movie never came out. And that she, like, I wonder if they did that so they wouldn't have to pay you. But I went back to work and I told her, I said, yeah, I saw you. I said, you're actually pretty good. And she goes, it's actually out? People can see it? And I'm like, yeah, it's on Netflix. What's up with you? It's like, oh my God, I've never seen it. Like,
yeah.
My problem. But it was, back in the day, and she was like seriously young then. So.
Yeah, there's another movie that's in that same time frame from Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, where it was called Kentucky Fried Movie, which is pretty far out there too.
That's
pretty crude. You haven't seen that?
Yeah, John Landis directed that, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, because he's the reason that Michael Jackson asked him to. That movie was the reason why John Landis directed Thriller.
Well, let me tell you something, Rose. You can be expecting a package if you want one.
Do you have the movie?
I do.
Oh, cool! Honestly, I've never seen it. To this day, I've never seen it.
It's weird, but it's fun.
But
it's much more. No, it's nothing like Forbidden Zone.
I think Dave fell asleep. Dave, are you out there?
No, I'm listening.
No, Dave, have you ever seen Kentucky Fried Movie?
I have not, but I'm trying to find a way to get us back into the 80s.
Oh, yeah, I know. These are both 70s. These are both late 70s. 78, 77 is Kentucky Fried Movie. 78 was Fried Green Tomatoes.
Yeah, I just Googled them, so I was like, all right, well, yeah.
Fried Green Tomatoes? That's a different movie.
There you go.
I mean, not Fried Green Tomatoes. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Sorry, Fried Green Tomatoes was in the 80s, wasn't it?
Fortune Fried Green Tomatoes, please don't kill us. We love that movie.
Was that one in the 80s? That was like...
Yeah.
Fried Green Tomatoes, right? Was definitely the 80s, not
Mary Louise Masterson?
Fried Green Tomatoes, 91.
Oh,
91. Okay.
Man.
It's on the cusp.
That's all right.
So no
80s.
fried movies in the 80s.
No fried movies in the 80s.
Except for maybe Stroker Ace.
Ooh. Anyway, yeah.
All right, Rose. Do you want that movie?
Yes, please. Please send it to me.
Okay. This one you'll find this one more entertaining.
That's fine.
Definitely.
I did find Forbidden Zone entertaining, but
Okay.
in a quirky, perverted sort of way.
In the most bizarre kind of way, right?
Yeah. Like, I'm a grandma. I shouldn't really be watching this. But, what happens at grandma stays at grandma's.
Okay.
And,
All right,
and that was another thing. Is like I had to make sure that there was no one around when I watched it.
Oh yeah,
yes.
definitely.
Yeah, because
They be asking
there
questions.
was two problems. One, I've got kids running around. Two, I don't want to have to explain to my wife. Scott sent this, and I have to watch it. And...
It's my homework, honey.
No, ignore them humping on the screen, dear. I just know.
Yeah.
Nope, she doesn't have any clothes on.
They aren't really
Part-
humping; they're dry humping.
They're dry. That's even worse.
No, okay, and Kentucky Fried Movie is not kid friendly. Also, there's
Okay.
there's ampleness. That's exposed ampleness.
Kind of like in Chopping Mall.
Yeah.
Oh yes, definitely in Chopping Mall there was some exposed
Ampleness.
ample.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh goodness. Okay.
And
All right,
motivation,
guys.
go get cigarettes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Motivation, yeah. Yeah, hurry back.
An urge to fry chicken now. I don't know why.
All right.
All right.
Thank
so
you, guys. No, I have to say thank you for actually taking the time to check it out. And I know it's risky sharing it with people
Yeah.
because people might
But
see
it's
you
us.
in a different way.
Yeah.
Like,
Us.
wow, he likes this.
And
He's
we
a little-
already know we're demented, right?
Yeah, he's a little more off than I thought. So, thank you
Not
for
yet.
taking the time, really, seriously,
You're welcome.
and giving me the feedback, because I always love to hear feedback on this thing because it's just so bizarre, So, anyway, that's all I have to say.
yeah, and if there's any psychologists, psychiatrists that are out there that need to help us with some analysis of Scott, please go ahead and email 80sreboot@gmail.com. I think he needs help.
Yes.
Again,
My
that was me.
my wife would
We
agree
need
with you.
help for enabling him. So call us too. Tell us what our problem is.
Well, I'll just go to the support group and sit around and go, yeah, he's my friend.
Yeah. Nothing I wouldn't do for him. Sue me.
Hey,
So I shouldn't watch this movie. Scott it. All right.
Speaking of support groups, I'm going to go totally off topic. Have you guys seen the TV show called People of Earth yet?
No.
No.
It's on TBS.
Okay.
It's an original series by them. It's actually pretty good.
Okay.
They're short episodes. I think there's 10 of them out there now. It's first season, and it's with she was on Saturday Night Live for a while.
Okay.
Can't remember her name right now. Anyway, I would recommend it. It was fun.
Okay.
The wife and I both enjoyed it. And it's about a support group of people that have been abducted by aliens. It's total comedy. About
Okay.
about a group of people that have been abducted by aliens, and they share their stories with each other. And then the aliens are like watching over them every once in a while. And it's very you'll like it.
Is it on Netflix?
I don't think it's on Netflix.
Okay. I'll have to find it. Maybe it's on Amazon or something.
It might be on Amazon. I swear it's a TBS show. So
Okay.
sorry, you said support group, and that made me.
No, that's fine. Good segue. I like that.
All right, so I would ask final thoughts on Forbidden Zone, but I think we covered that already.
I think we did.
Yeah,
We can put that
Weird.
death horse down now. Yeah, we stop beating it.
Yeah, we
Okay.
beat that horse.
And if anybody out there is looking for a good double feature, then Forbidden Zone followed by the Star Wars Holiday Special. I think it might be.
Please make sure you're able to either drink alcohol or have some kind of recreational.
Right.
Yeah, don't go trying
Don't
to
watch
run
these
over your
movies and
friend's
drive.
house and tell them.
We
yes,
love you,
don't.
listeners. We don't want to hurt you.
No.
But you will need some some sort of help.
Yeah, if you're
Getting
in
through
Colorado or Washington and weed's legal, definitely I would bowl it before you.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go through social media credentials. Rose, where you at?
I am at 80s Music Girl on Twitter, 80s Music Girl on Instagram, and 80s Music Girl on Facebook.
Scott.
I think I might digress this time.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. You can find me at 80s Auto Reverse on Twitter, and or at Scott's Eye on Twitter, and then on Facebook you can find us at 80s Mixtape Auto Reverse also.
Cool. Take care of the 80s Reboot accounts, and that's facebook.com/80s Reboot. Twitter is 80s Reboot. We got 80s Reboot.tumblr.com. And we also got that blog out there, southgatemediagroup.com/80s Reboot blog. I mentioned earlier that you can shoot us an email. That's 80sreboot@gmail.com. If you do send us an email, we'll definitely be reading it and talking about it on the air, as we have done in the past with correspondence that we've gotten. The other thing is, make sure you go out there and get that rating review on iTunes for us. Every extra review that gets out there helps us, and makes it easier for people to find us. So we appreciate all those that have already done that for us.
Yes, and for those of you who haven't, you have until the end of the year to get one in, or we'll personally send you a copy of Forbidden Zone.
We'll be lucky to see if people make it through this episode of talking about the Forbidden Zone.
I'm really curious if people are going to see the title of this episode and go, all right, I'm going to find out what these guys are talking about.
Yeah. I'm sorry. No, really, thanks again, guys, for humoring me. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So if you guys have homework for me like that, I'm in.
Oh, we will.
Well,
Okay.
I already sent you a Christmas gift with what I want to do for homework.
Oh yeah, dude, we got to talk about that soon. I definitely want to do that.
Yeah,
that is awesome movie.
Last Starfighter.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking we, even if we put it out there as a online event, and we let people know when we're going to be watching it, we can record commentary, and also allow people, if they've got the DVD, that they can watch along with us and tweet or chat with us.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That'd be cool.
That could be fun.
Yeah. And it's a great movie, so
it's
should
awesome.
be a lot of fun. All right, so with that, we appreciate everybody reliving the 80s with us, and have a good whatever.
Take care.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
We hope you've enjoyed this show. This podcast is part of the 80s Reboot Overdrive channel on Southgate Media Group. You can follow us on Facebook on the 80s Reboot group page. We're also on Twitter and Tumblr at 80s Reboot. We invite you to check out all the wonderful podcasts and blogs available at southgatemediagroup.com. And thank you for reliving the 80s.
All right.
All right. Thanks again, guys. That was awesome. I had fun. I had fun hearing your commentary on it.
Both conversations were pretty cool.
Oh, dude, that interview with Kelly was phenomenal. I thought that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's another good person to interview, because you ask her a question and she tells stories. She's a storyteller. It's great.
Yeah, and and genuine. You get that by
absolutely.
talking to people. And sometimes when you're talking to people and you kind of you feel like a scripted answer, but I didn't feel that from her at all. It was like,
no.
Yeah.
And I swear, her voice is exactly the same as it is in the film.
It is. Like, Billy,
So
you sound just
bizarre.
like yourself.
Yeah.
So cute. Really cute.
So, all right, guys.
All right.
I gotta go
night.
make dinner.
I will talk to you later.
Yep. Bye.
All right. Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year. Bye.
Bye.